Hey there, I'm Brady with Cathartic Movement, and this is
Juliet.
This is the Cathartic Awareness interview where we find Pacific Northwest creatives and figure out what it's all about. Alright, we're playing this game called Cathartic Connection here, and I'll briefly explain this. We've got 3 levels. We've got red, blue, and yellow. Yellow is child's play, blue in the middle is like the next level, and red is, alright, let's get deep, let's talk down to this, alright? So you can choose whatever you want. There are green cards in here. Those are like action cards, so be aware you might be doing push-ups, acting out something, we'll see. And this is the chicken. If you don't want to do something, squeeze the chicken. Do you want to name the chicken?
I'd like to name him Pete.
Okay, Pete the chicken. If you don't want to answer a question, bam. So can you tell everyone what you do as an artist and kind of what you're about?
Yeah, so I make pop music. It's kind of a mix between indie pop and electro pop. I produce some of my stuff. I write all my stuff. I co-write with some other amazing talents around here and on the internet. You know, anything is possible these days. Yeah, I sing. I play some guitar. I play some piano. Back in high school, I played trombone. That's not part of my project right now. But I started my project just called Juliet a couple years ago. When I first moved here, I started writing songs again after not really writing anything during college.
And where did you move from?
I moved from California.
Okay.
Yeah. So Northern California. I just kind of started writing songs therapeutically for myself. Eventually, I ended up with enough of them for an EP. Got a family friend to help me out with that. Ever since, it's just been more and more music. So yeah, I've been playing shows around here for about 1.5 years. I have band members who perform live with me. It's been super fun getting out here. I've had some really fun collaborations too. Just learning, just enjoying life.
Surprise question. What song did you listen to on the way over here?
Ooh. So I'm working on some songs for my next EP. So I was listening to some bounces of that. But before I was listening to my Spotify Wrapped playlist, there was a song by Sadie. She's a small artist who makes hyperpop music.
Okay.
One of the songs that I had played a lot from her this year is called Where You're Not.
Okay, check the description for that song. Should we get into it?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, thanks for opening up like that. Feel free to dive in here. It looks like yellow is on this side, blue, and then red here. Start wherever you like.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go for the middle of the pack. I feel like most people do that when they draw a card.
You're the
Okay,
first
it's
person.
blue.
Everyone has started on yellow, so you're the bravest so far.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Okay, great. You had to handwrite all these cards. That's crazy.
We
to me.
made this
Sorry.
game, yeah.
Can we appreciate this for a second? You had to like bevel the edges.
We did.
I love it. I love it. So much attention
Thank
to
you so
detail.
much.
If you could attend any major event in history, weird or otherwise, what would it be and what role would you play? I've been like meaning to get back into travel. I think it was like some tradition for like the upper class Americans to like go and take some like coming of age trip to Europe. Most people would think I've like already come of age, but I don't really feel that way. And I feel like it'd be really fun to go back and like experience things through the eyes of a newcomer. I know it's not like a crazy consequential event or anything, but I think that most crazy consequential events would probably be a little bit traumatizing. So there's my safe answer for an unsafe card.
Okay, very good. That's great. What's your favorite place to travel? That's a follow-up question.
Favorite place to travel to is Spain. I learned some Spanish when I was growing up, and so I feel travel is always a little bit more welcoming in those Spanish-speaking countries, or of course English-speaking countries too. Spain is just warm, balmy. There's a good amount of like nature that you can get out into, a bunch of cool cities to visit. Food's pretty good. People stay up late. They know how to party.
What song of yours reminds you of Spain?
What song of mine reminds me of Spain?
Or was inspired by? Do you have one by chance?
No, nothing really. I really wasn't writing very much like during my kind of travel era.
Okay, maybe it's time to go to Spain and write a song.
Yeah, actually, I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
I'm very pro that.
Yeah, I like when people go to locations to write. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, like Caroline Polachek, I heard wrote a lot of stuff for her most recent album in Italy.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I can imagine that would be a really inspiring place to write.
And are you writing right now? Can you give us an inside peek on what the latest is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So right now I'm mostly like polishing songs or like editing songs. So I'm like later in that stage of writing rather than writing as many new ideas. I have this Apple Watch that I got to like mainly record things while I'm like driving and riding my bike or like running or whatever. And it's like annoying for me to take out my phone or like physically
do the same
unsafe.
thing. Yeah.
So I'm always like recording voice memos or like if they're more like lyric based ideas, I'll write that down in a note and I just like start a new note each month. So I'm always writing like little fragments of things, but I don't demand that like that's song worthy or anything. In terms of what I'm working on right now, I'm like trying to narrow stuff down, like narrow down the quality for the EP that I'm coming out with. And a lot of the writing is more arranging and like composition and not like fully lyrical as we're kind of getting into the production stages for some of these songs. I'm really excited about all of that, but I do have like a fantasy of like going to a cabin, like even just like around here too, just like renting a cabin for a weekend and just like going out by myself, writing some stuff, or like just writing a little bit and just enjoying myself and getting inspired for the next time I sit down and write.
Yeah.
I think I really need to make more time for that. It's just like life's been so busy, man. December's crazy.
Do you listen to Bon Iver?
A little bit. I have my best friend from high school in my hometown really, really loves them and sent me Stacks as a really cool lyrical example.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm very inspired by how like he has poetic but like ambiguous lyrics.
Almost
and
like cryptic a little bit.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what she totally used that exact same
Yeah.
words. Like, this is really cryptic. I think as someone who like writes a little bit more like a Charlie Puth of the world, who's like, I'm feeling this, you could like understand this at a 4th grade level. That totally makes sense for a lot of pop, but I feel like it's always healthy to imagine like the opposite of what you're doing and be like, how can I draw inspiration from this also? Are you a fan?
A huge fan myself. The reason I brought it up is because Justin Vernon wrote his self-titled record in Wisconsin in a member of his family's cabin way deep in the woods, and he just wrote the whole thing there.
Yeah.
That record's amazing. And
That's
going
so
off of what you said, I think some things in the universe are unexplainable. Using words like he uses is almost an attempt at explaining the unexplainable. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that very much rings true. I also think that's why people make music and why people make art in a way is like, if you could just get it off your chest by telling a friend and they'd be like, oh, I understand immediately. Like, I know exactly what you went through. Would you really have the need to like make a whole song, make a whole album about it?
That's a great point.
Yeah, I think the fact that like a lot of our experience is indelible is what makes us make music. I mean, even abstracting away from lyrics, like just a bunch of like ahs like have different kind of like musicality to them, like different kinds of feelings even when you're not using words. And so there is just like a whole nother like axis or dimension or whatever that like only music can communicate and words literally cannot.
And painting and dancing.
Yeah, exactly. Like all the other forms of art as well.
All these dimensions.
Yeah, totally.
Can you give one piece of advice for a new coming performing artist out there?
I feel like I'm a new coming performing artist. Like I definitely have a long way to go. And I just like want to learn how to win over more crowds and like promote my shows better too, for sure. If there's someone who's like just starting out like on the open mic scene or like starting a new project, I would say do co-bills with people. I mean, of course, I'm still doing those. Like get to know other musicians who organize things together with you. Don't be afraid of using technology in your performances. I feel like creatives can be like allergic to tech in a way. Having playback can be super helpful. So like learning how to do that, which of course like I'm still learning more and more about. Like I think that's helped me differentiate my act. Especially like if you make more like electronic music or stuff with like a ton of tracks and layers to it. It's helpful to get all that together. Don't buy too much gear at once. I've definitely learned that the hard way. Like, the problem with buying gear is that you have to learn how to use it. And so if you can get like a piece at a time, I think it's a lot more doable. And I think like just going out to shows, I totally didn't realize like what a big difference that would make. Because like I grew up in a small town. I didn't really grow up going to a lot of live music except for like what we had in our town, which was jazz and like classical music recitals and the school pep band and like concert band and stuff. I didn't like go out and see the music that I would like normally listen to in my room or whatever. Just going out and like meeting people who either play music or are just like really passionate about music is definitely a good thing to get started out. And that's something I want to do more of in the new year too, especially for like within my genre. I feel like there's so many great pop artists here in Seattle and I just like want to meet them all. And like I've already been crushing on their music, like listening to it on Spotify and like online and stuff.
We also are so lucky to have so many cool small venues in the area.
Yeah, we
are.
are.
Lots of opportunity. Okay, this is the boiling hot last question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is the most influential album you've ever listened to?
I have a lot of top albums and I love listening by album. One that inspires me, even though I haven't been spinning it as much lately, is Flower Boy by Tyler, the Creator. And I think the reason it inspires me is not because I'm going to like use all those songs as references and like I make music that's nothing like Tyler's music. And frankly, like I started listening because like a boy I was crushing on was listening to him. And I also thought that like it would surprise people that I would listen to this kind of music. Like I don't like people to feel like they have me figured out. And so I like became a fan of him, but then like I really started to like all of his music and like get really into Odd Future and like Sid and obviously Frank Ocean. Like who can't be into Frank Ocean, right? Like and Earl Sweatshirt and like all these people. The reason Flower Boy inspires me, you wouldn't know that it like came from the same person necessarily that made like Bastard and Goblin and like all those other things and stuff. And of course like Wolf was great. I love Wolf too. It's such a like departure for him in a lot of ways. And like it's the point at which he finally got critical accolades after like Cherry Bomb not doing so well. And I think it's just like, to me, it's like a tale of hope in terms of the way it was made. It's still really authentic, even though it like appeased the critics and everything. And I think it's just like a good thing for us as like musicians to keep in mind of like, we might be controversial in the beginning. We may upset a lot of people. We may make creative decisions that like other people think that we would never receive a Grammy for. And eventually, like if we just like stick with it and we're like authentic to ourselves and we continue to like work with people and like raise a great community, then we can make work that eventually people will really see. So yeah, that's why I really like that album. It's a banger.
That's great advice. Everyone, this is Juliet.
Thanks.
And I'm Brady, and thanks for watching the Cathartic Awareness interview.
Thanks so much.